Welcome to the very first episode of the Treehouse podcast. I'm Lila and I'm your host for today. And in this podcast, we will get to know the people behind the mic. Today, I'm joined by three guests Vico, Jurriaan, and JB. Great to have you all here. Let's start simple. Can each of you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you? Can you start?
Yes, of course. My name is Jurriaan. I'm a painter, and I'm at the moment for this exhibition collaborating with JuliIa Beth. Um, I originally was a banker, and then the last couple of years I transitioned towards being a painter. So,
And what about you, JB?
I'm JuliIa Beth Harris. I'm JB for short. I'm a poet and artist, performer as well. And collaborating with Jurriaan always brings visuals to my visions. So that, makes it stronger. And I'm excited to see what comes out this time.
It's okay. And what about you, Vico?
Yeah, I'm a visual artist and been a part of Treehouse since 3.5 years now, and really enjoy the diversity of the community at Treehouse with the musicians and the painters and all the different disciplines coming together.
Vico, you are the co-curator of this exhibition. Please, could you tell us what the exhibition is about?
Yeah, so at Treehouse, there are, as I just mentioned, a lot of different disciplines, right? So I found myself hanging out with musicians quite a lot, even though I'm a visual artist myself. And I think that's actually how it started, that we just thought, let's do something where we combine some of all these disciplines that you find at Treehouse. I also think that maybe especially in the times we're in right now, communities are important, and to have a sort of supportive community where there's space for diversity. I find that extremely important. And so for me, it was really just interesting to nourish this idea and to celebrate this idea of artistic friendships, actually. So I work a lot with materials like old furnitures or things I found in the street that I transform into sculpture. Or sometimes I make collages and paintings. But then I would hang out with musicians, and sometimes we started collaborating. And so this exhibition that we are curating is really about that, about artistic friendships and cross-disciplinary collaboration, let's say.
And how did this group form that you guys are doing this together? How did that form? Could you tell me a little bit about that?
I think that's a question for Jurriaan,
Yeah.
as he invited me into this group.
yeah, so I think Treehouse always has an open call, and then they pick and choose. And this time, the open call was about artistic friendships and collaborations. And so I worked in a very nice environment next museum, and there I met JuliIa Beth. We became friends first, and second, we started to collaborate. So we started to talk a lot about our works. And at a certain point, I think I also initiated it, but
Usually.
I'm an initiator, but I, of course, inspired by the people around me in that sense. Because, I was a maker and I didn't come from art school. So I was searching for people around me that could kind of help me detect what my paintings were about. And JB, while visiting me in my studio or somewhere else, she was able to express that. She was able to give words as a poet as well to my paintings that I didn't even have. So that's for me the start to collaborate with somebody, and that grew towards something. Well, maybe you can tell a bit more about how we kind of grew towards how we collaborate right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing that we did together was also, multidisciplinary, like you were talking about, but it was also together with a musician, so a composer, and Jurriaan as a painter, and me as a words person. And our first project that we did together was to create new rituals on stage. So these rituals that we created was something that was really important for, I think, what is missing in today's creative scene. Something that I normally notice as a creator, as a poet, is that there's an element of spirituality that is being searched for, that is sort of unnameable, but that in combining our disciplines together, we could create and give form to. So that really made each of us better. And the sound and the visuals really informed my words, as the words and the sound, I think, informed your visuals. And to create something new together really just made us all better, I think, and which is why I'm open to this next chapter as well.
Well, that's very beautiful. And Jurriaan, could you tell us a little bit more about what we can expect, what you're going to show?
Yes, I can.
That's great.
Already collaborating. We are entangled through
Yes.
the wires here. Yes, I can. So JuliIa Beth just mentioned the rituals, but I think a very important aspect of the rituals where we met also was our body. And that kept on going through our friendships as well, where we started to dance on balconies of ourselves, made performances out of our friendship as well. And I think that body always kept us together, conversations about the body, also through our different backgrounds, which makes it interesting. Different cultures step differently into the body, etc. But also different disciplines work differently with the body. So as a painter, you are obviously very physical. You use your body a lot. But also as a poet, JuliIa Beth can tell about that. But and in this time, we collaborate on something where we both really separately from each other created works. But through the conversations that we had, we saw that they were really connected. So I'm showing 3 little paintings. They are a little bit about how to become lighter through the body. So how to enter the light and how to become more of an angelic form almost through letting your body be there. And or through entering your body. And JuliIa Beth wrote poetry not specifically about these paintings, but that touches up on the painting. So it's also an abstract connection in that sense. It's not a very concrete connection, but it's all starting point is the body.
And embodiment also of art and creative processes, especially as a poet, the words really come from lived experience. So as I move, as I live, as I experience things, and it goes through my body, through my system, that is where the words come from. So this embodiment is also complementary to writing, responding to Jurriaan's words, visuals.
And words.
And Vico, what is your part in this? How did you work together with these 2 artists?
Well, so basically, I'm participating in the exhibition with a work, and I'm co-curating the exhibition together with Mulan Go. So basically, we had an open call. We received a lot of different applications, and Mulan and I, we went through all the applications and basically made our choices. And we were really looking for diversity. Of course, we always look for art that we like. Obviously, that's kind of part of it, right? But we also just really wanted a diversity to show different ways of collaborating as artists and different sorts of artistic friendships, you know. And the exhibition is called 2 Suns at Once. And yeah, I thought it was nice to emphasize this idea of when you make something, it's like a sun shining. And in this case, there are two suns shining at the same time. Even though there is also space for more people working together, it can also be a group of 5, you know. We're open to all sorts of formats that way, but conceptually, this idea of 2 suns at once is very much part of the concept of the exhibition.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful name as well. And so you were the one that chose them to work together. Did I get that correct?
No, they already worked together.
You already worked together, and
they applied as a
Yeah,
duo.
as a duo.
Yeah, indeed. And so we basically chose them, and then Mulan and we're now working with them at the moment to decide exactly like where to show the work in the exhibition room and things like that.
Right.
Mm.
Right. And
It's always a big part of it to curate the exhibition in
Yeah.
the actual room, but it comes a little bit later as well, when we're actually having all the works in the rooms, you know.
It's almost a third entity of collaboration, right? The curator.
so
It
it's
really, and to set up, you know, the works, to decide what communicates well with each other, what works are interesting together, things like that.
so it's also kind of a third son in this case. Then you're a part of it as well, of course.
True.
Yeah. Well, you both have individual practices as well. Uh, Jurriaan, how was it for you collaborating with somebody?
Maybe I already said a little bit about it, but I think for me it was really to get my own work clearer
Right.
and to learn from others so that I could put new elements of art into my work. It's not only about the words that JuliIa Beth is putting into my work. It's also about how these words kind of like reshuffle my own thoughts about my work and how these works of myself then start to change. For example, we were working a lot with our bodies. The way JuliIa Beth was already conscious about her body before I was very helpful for me to become
Right.
conscious. So I started painting about my body, and also in the process of becoming conscious, I made paintings about that, shape shifting, different forms. But those came from different people. But JuliIa Beth had a strong kind of influence into, especially the consciousness about it.
I think for me, it was also the other way around, where Julian's influence really helped me get out of my head and into my body. Because if you are writing, it's really something that it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of head work. And I remember the first day when we got to the studio where Julian had a massive canvas up, and it was just bigger than both of us, and like big pots of paint, and we could just make marks, like my inner child just came out. And of course I could never I'm not a painter, so it wasn't about making something beautiful for me, but it was about getting out of my head and into my body and making something visual. And that already added a lot to the process of embodiment and also creating words that also come from that space. Thinking differently also because of doing differently.
Well, it's very beautiful how you can really hear that both of you are really learning from each other in that way. So I think that's very beautiful. And why do you think people should come to the exhibition? Julia, why do you think they should come?
To shine as well, to radiate, to receive the warmth of the two suns at once. And it won't only be us as a partnership. There'll be other constellations as well. So I think that's what is needed. If anybody is looking to be inspired, especially during this time of so much hopelessness, there is a trend of hope core at the moment, because of as a response to all the darkness in the world. So if you are looking to have a breather from that, or be inspired, or feel the warmth of that art creates, then then this is available.
Is there anything you want to add to that, Jurriaan?
Well, beautifully said, right?
Definitely. You have a way with words. You can hear it.
Go
Definitely.
figure.
So nothing to
no?
add.
No, that I get it. I mean, it's hard to say it better than the poet herself, of course. I do think that.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, collaborating gives the freedom of trying like a new media with somebody else. In an ideal world, with which artist would you want to collaborate? Want to start, Julia?
Whoa.
Oh,
God
It's-
damn it.
That's a.
Well, I would
alive or
love
dead?
Yeah.
You can choose both because
Oh.
I get it.
The latest on my mind was another painter, so I stay quite close to my practice in that sense. And then I would like to collaborate with Albert Uhle. It's a German painter, very abstract pieces. I would love him to draw me a little bit out of my figuration. Yeah.
Yeah. And for you?
Yeah, funny to think of now, but I was just listening to a podcast about great women artists, and they happened to be talking about Elsa Schiaparelli, the fashion designer. And I think, working with artists who are designers who are making things in the material world can really inform something that is so heady as words and poetry. She was also working in quite a surreal way, so also collaborated a lot with surrealists of the time like Salvador Dali, and they also were a creative friendship. But to learn about her and how she turned these surreal ideas and visuals and iconography into fashion design, into gowns with lobsters on them, and just twisted reality in a way that suited her material medium. Like today, she's inspiring for me, and I think we can overlap in this. Twisting of reality towards something more magical and dreamy.
Right.
Today it's her, tomorrow someone
Yeah,
else.
I guess it changes a lot,
Yeah.
of course.
Every day.
Yeah. About you, if you could choose?
I will choose Lady Gaga.
Right.
Definitely. And it's a quite unusual choice for me because I don't listen to pop music ever. I always listen to classical music, to jazz, to electronic music. But I would choose Lady Gaga because there are so many other artists that I would want to work with that I don't want to offend anyone.
course.
And because I think Lady Gaga is amazing. I think she's it would be interesting to work with a pop artist in any case. And also she's super diverse and she's such a deep person that has she's such a warm, intelligent person that I think, honestly, it would be amazing to work with her. And since I love working with musicians as part of my visual work, I think we could go to new places. So I hope she hears this.
Well, I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that too.
She has worked with Marina Abramovic, so you never know.
You're next.
You never. Well, that's nice to think about, of course.
Yeah.
I get it. And Vico, when and where can we see the end result that we've been talking about?
Yeah, so basically there are actually two exhibitions in a way. So maybe I could tell you a little bit about my part of the exhibition as well.
Sure,
Because
definitely.
it might be nice to mention that we will basically start with what I call a prelude exhibition because, I'm participating in the exhibition as an artist, but I'm also a curator, so it's a dual role, right? And so I thought that could be confusing. So I decided to make a prelude exhibition where I'm doing my thing, let's say. So on the 13th of May, everyone is welcome at Treehouse for the prelude exhibition. And there I'll have my installation. So my installation is made of candy paper and bathroom tiles and other different objects that I found on the street and reworked. And I'm collaborating with a dancer and a couple of musicians as well. So on the 13th of May, there's going to be a bit of something happening there. And the installation I'm making is really something that can be seen just as an artwork, but it can also be activated from time to time by a dancer or by musicians. The work I'm making is actually made as an homage to Felix Gonzalez Torres.
Okay.
An artist who passed away in the 90s. And that's actually how the whole idea started back in the days, I would say, because I did this the first time in August 2025, August 2025, as part of Pride Week Amsterdam. I did an installation, which is basically, I guess the first time I worked in a very clear way with musicians and dancers together. And so basically what we're doing now, even the whole curating project in a way, I would say is based on that actually in a certain way. So on the 13th of May will be my prelude exhibition, and then a week later it'll grow into the group exhibition with all the artists, which will open on the 21st of May.
21st.
The 21st
Right.
of May, yeah.
Yeah. So there's two, the exhibition that's going to be seen. Well, that's very exciting, of course.
Yeah, I mean the main group exhibition is of course the one that opens the 21st of May. I guess we should just be 100% sure that it is the 21st of May. Maybe we should just check.
Yeah, I'm quite sure as well.
Yeah, right? It is the
Yeah.
21st,
Yes.
But basically, I'm doing it that way because then I can actually focus on the other artists as a curator, So my work will still be in the room, but I'll be able to focus on the others, let's say. And I will remove a lot of my own work and just keep one there, and then the other artists come.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have another question for you guys. Well, how has it been to work together? Like, I'm very curious about that. Can I ask that to you?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I have to think about all our projects together, like our whole collaboration journey. And I think if anything, then Jurriaan is fire and I'm water.
Right.
And he makes us boil, so then we can cook something. That's really what he adds as an element. It comes to me now to speak about his energy. He's not only fiery, but he's very energetic. He's an initiator. He also shows in his work. It's quite vibrant and expressive. And I think when you put, and I think that as an element of water, which brings a little bit more fluidity and also a calming element to the collaboration, I think it's these opposites can make each other stronger and create something new. So of course, it's not only always in collaboration a flowy process. I think friction is also part and parcel of collaboration. And we've experienced that as well, especially at the beginning, where these opposite elements also sometimes negotiate for space, like how much space can you take? And especially as independent artists, you're used to full autonomy over the artwork, which is your ultimate expression and the one place in this world where you get to call all the shots. And I think as individuals, we need that. So to bring it together, to marry creatively at first is, it causes tension and friction. But from this friction, from this meeting of differences, we find new parts of ourselves and create new ways to say things and new places to belong, not only for ourselves but also for the audience or whoever comes to view it. So it's worth it, the friction and the ultimate harmony.
So in the end, it is worth it. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Better is better.
Yes. And for you, how was it for you to work with Julia?
I think
JuliIa Beth.
I think she explained pretty well. I think what I want to add to that is that this whole working together also brought us a very interesting and deep friendship. So it's like, and I think that's what I want to say is that normally you build a friendship, you talk to each other, you go out, but making art together is something very deep, vulnerable, where you really have your own feelings and opinions that you have to make a dialogue about. And I think, that's just something I just wanted to say. And I think JuliIa Beth really explained well about also her own bringing her own elements of water in the game. And I think that's true. She grounds me now and then. She learned me how to ground, and that's really nice.
I also think it's an interesting idea, this idea of, that you have full power over your own work, like you just mentioned, and sometimes you have to let go. But in my case, for example, when I work with a musician, it's because I don't make music myself, right? And then if I work with a dancer, I don't dance. So I want to have full control on my work, actually. It's quite important for me. And I also give full control actually to the dancer. I mean, there will be a framework because there'll be something like an hour, for example, you have to deal with time. But apart from that, I really want to be as open as possible to how the other artists work if I collaborate with them, I can, of course, only speak for myself right now since they're not here with me. But I just thought that's an interesting point as well, that you sometimes create a certain sort of formula in a sense, like where there's complete freedom within a certain frame, and that way you're actually free as an artist to do what you want to do without having to compromise, because compromising wouldn't be a good idea. It's usually not a good idea in art, I think.
Well, that was very beautiful, and I think it's for me personally, very interesting to hear you guys talk about it, and it's also very inspiring. But that brings us to the end of our first episode of the Treehouse podcast. I want to thank you, Vico, Jurriaan, and JuliIa Beth, for sharing a glimpse into what's coming for this exhibition. And if you're listening and feeling curious, definitely go check out the exhibitions on May 13th and May 21st. Thank you much for tuning in. This has been Lila, and this is the Treehouse podcast where we get to know the people behind the mic. See you next time.